Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upashama Prakarana, section 71 continues, giving more insight into the highest state of 7 steps of wisdom. That's Turiya, Turiyatita. What's the goal of life? That's what's being presented to you. And that's an important point in Hindu scriptures. First, the scriptures brings the picture of the goal, and then the scripture goes on explaining how to reach it. That's what in Gita, your second chapter is Chitta Pragya Lakshanas, and then you go into all the details. Just as flying birds leave no tracks in the sky, so too a sage attains liberation through a mystic path which cannot be comprehended by the gross vision of a person. All karmic movements are described in the terms of paths. Path to hell, path to heaven, path to your embodiment. These are all gatis, paths. But attainment of liberation does not adopt any path, because it's a revelation. Karmic movement is something creative, created through Maya. So it follows a totally different formula. Attaining realization is not creating anything, but recognizing who am I, a revelation. Simple way to understand, in dream, no matter how wonderful your dream, is never perfect. So even in your dream, you are desiring to change the situation, to improve what you are experiencing. But, and for that, you have a chart, which way to go, for where to, if you want to go to a hotel, and this is the way to go. If you want to go to excursion, this is the way to go. If you want to fly in dream, you have more freedom. You can fly also. But which way to go to be awakened? Now figure that out. There is no way out. In dream terminology, there is no way. Similarly, everything that you gain in the world, the mind thinks out of a path. But, for attaining liberation is like waking up. World experience is a dream experience. That's what mind has to digest it. So all the 3 points in your practical reality is the dream. 3 things are wrong. The dream subject is not real. The dream world is not real. And of course, your experiences are not real. But are you in any way better than in the dream state? You have never discovered all about yourself, not even about your bones. I'm joking. And scientists have never discovered all about the world. And the experiences people go through, psychology, no psychologists have a profound understanding of what is all about. So, this is called long dream. Coming out of all this requires a totally different terminology. You are waking up. You are not going through north or south, etc. Any description north-south is allegorical. So liberation is not adopting a path. But if you use path's term in an allegorical way, yes, the path of wisdom. But that path is not ordinary path. It is a path of awakening. And your awakening takes place in 7 steps. First awakening, you develop aspiration, shubhecha. All your ichhas, your desires, are not really good. Because you end up with having nothing. But when you desire to know about yourself, that becomes shubhecha. That's the aspiration. Next step, vicharana. Therefore, now you exercise, allow your mental resources to figure out, who am I? But to allow your mental resources, now it requires your mind to go into all Raj Yoga movement, like concentration, meditation. Your mind has to be spiritually disciplined. So, the more disciplined mind, more balanced mind, greater is your ability to reflect upon who am I. Greater is your vision towards your essential reality. Now, as you got further involved, you will begin to discover Tanumanasi state. Tanumanasi means mind is allegorically described like a very fat, obese aspect of your personality. What has fattened it? Lots of illusions. You have put your Bhandar house, the house that contains all the precious things. The Bhandar is called Bhandar. The Bhandar is filled with garbage. All types of knowledge. And human mind is never satisfied. To highlight behind all that, all this you are grabbing because of raga, dvesha, attachment, hatred, like and dislike. Things you like, they are in one big storehouse. Things you dislike is another storehouse. But you are constantly busy to go and arrange the storehouses. What you liked, suddenly realize it is not so good. So go into the storehouse, figure it out, bring it out, slap it, kick it, then go to the other house. Find a spot for it. Put your ducks together. That's what Everyone is doing day by day, hour after hour. But when the raga dvesha, when you come to a state neither going to this storehouse nor to that storehouse, you begin to discover in your own heart all the store that you have kept, that you like. You have to understand that what you like is not an authentic fact. You like something in the morning, by the evening you don't like. And then you yourself don't know whether you like it or don't like it. But they like you. They become your reality. So that is called tanumanasi. Move away from the big load of like and dislike. And the term is serenity. How to develop that? So that automatically begins to develop. If you have followed Shubhecha, Vicharana, come to tanumanasi. And when you begin to follow, now a window has opened in your heart, which has been always closed. And the light of wisdom begins to flow. Again, it's allegorical. When you wake up from your dream, there is no window opening in the dream world. But how else can we describe it? So, a mystic channel has opened for you to be awakened. And a wakeful light enters, like the sun is entering. Now the whole scene changes, called sattva apatti. In that sattva apatti state, you have a clear vision that nothing in the world can shake you up. You relate yourself to Brahman. The light in you is not conditioned by all the garbages. That light is reflected light in a jar. Reality of it is it's not in the jar, it is not conditioned by surroundings. It is ever free. The reality is the sun. I'm putting finger up, down. That's again allegorical. Neither up or down. It's penetrating. So that's when sattva apatti has developed, you will have no more apatti. Apatti means misery. You will never go backward. You may have a lot of challenge to face, but no backward movement. So at this stage, one becomes a mukta, liberated. And now, the liberation state matures, just like a fruit has come and begins to ripen. The next state, asamsakti. You begin to live in the world, but you have learned the entire world is a big virus. So your mouth has a swab on it, hands have gloves in it. So, that's called asamsakti. No matter how wonderful situation is, no matter how loving relatives are around you, no more gloves, no tied up. See? The modern calamity gives you some idea. That's to treat Bhava Vyadhi, the big virus. Virus. And then comes the state that this virus moves away completely. You have treated it. So you don't need gloves, you don't need masks. But you have put yourself absolutely alone. Padartha bhavana. All have moved away. Don't take it literally. Your sun is alone. Of all the reflected suns and what they did, the sun has nothing to do with it. That type of a revelation, you are the I am Brahman. You come to that state. But now all this mind has, during all this time, mind is gradually dissolving. And when you have come to that last state, which I have described, padartha bhavana, mind has become like a soft cloud, unable to obstruct the light of the sun. The sun shines in spite of the little layer. But when that layer moves away, then it's called Turiya. It's a transcendental. Now the sun is absolutely free from every illusion. That's the highest goal. Now, an embellished term for that goal, Turiya Tita, because you are pointing to that goal as fourth. That means all the other three are still in your head. The scripture puts you, forget about it. It is Turiya Tita. It's beyond that Turiya. So they are not, they are what I'm leading to understand, they are just simply words. Allegorical description of synonym. Turiya and Turiyatita are one and the same. Keeping that in view, now we see many allegorical way of explaining that divine state. Just as flying birds leave no track in the sky, this point I have already explained, there is no track. Drunk with the elixir of supreme bliss, a great sage experiences the state of superconsciousness similar to sleep. The only way people become free of all problems is when they are in deep sleep. But that doesn't end the problem. You wake up and again get into the same thing. But at least deep sleep gives you some idea that you can use it as a simile. Now you have come to a state which is absolute sleep from the point of view of the world. You are not going to wake up to this world. That state is padartha bhavana, leading you to the fourth Turiya, transcendental. Having him experience immense peace during this state, he passes on to the glorious state of Turiya, which is beyond the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. With the cessation of prarabdha karma, the same sage then attains the state known as Turiya Tita, which I have explained to you. That's a matter of words. Without the concepts of waking, dream, deep sleep, and Turiya. A yogi must endeavor to attain the state of Turiya. Therefore, O Rama, though performing your daily duties, abide in that consciousness, similar to deep sleep. what's being told, that now, since that is your goal, promote that state in your mind that is not focused on holding on to likes and dislikes, but focused on adopting a four-aspected gateways to liberation. Serenity is one of the prominent ones. Shama. Just to remind you, Shama, Santosh, contentment, Satsang, good association, and Vichar, inquiry into who am I. All four are one and the same in four aspects. Do not ponder over the fact whether the body is subject to destruction or not, but rather assert your essential reality, the self. Ponder over the fact about the body. If of God alone is real, why did the body came in? Why did He create it? He created it. What makes one sick? What makes one die? And what happens to the body after you are dead? All that, of course, is needed in early stage, and scriptures give you the answer. But here, as I have told you, it is you are focused on the highest goal. So don't let your mental energy just stay with body, astrology, what karma is waiting for you, how many karmas you have to remove to have a prosperous situation, what embodiment is waiting for you after you die. And that's not enough. Your mind goes after all your near and dear ones, even your pets. Where are they? Where will they be? The scripture says, don't go after all that. Make your goals, self, who am I, more important. Awakening, what will make you wake up from this world? The idea is not to take it literally. You can go after all that. But always understand what you really should go after is how you can attain enlightenment. That is what's most important. Otherwise, all your mental involvements and your going after learning so many things all have no meaning, no purpose. Do not ponder over the fact whether the body is subject to destruction or not, but rather assert your essential reality, the self. That's the subtle meaning behind. Go after Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Calm your mind and present this question to it. Who am I? An answer doesn't come, doesn't matter. Aham Brahmasmi. Start operating on that. The I am in you is all that is. It's a two-aspected search. Going within your body, behind your body is the mind and senses. Behind mind and senses, intellect. Behind your intellect, cosmic mind. Behind cosmic mind is Brahman. As you go back, body, pranas, mind and senses, as you go on putting yourself, separating from layers and layers of your sheaths, that movement leads you ultimately, I am Brahman. Beyond the three bodies, beyond the five sheaths, I am Brahman. Next point, look at the word. Brahman is behind Brahman is expressing as everything in this world. But to recognize Brahman, you have to move away from names and forms. Mind is creating names and forms. If names and forms move away, then all things are Sat Chit Ananda. Absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute consciousness, absolute bliss. So not only be inspired, making research internally, be inspired looking at the world and recognizing that behind all this, Brahman is the reality, the same reality that you have as your deepest source. That reality is behind all names and forms. So both ways, your mind begins to handle the practice of jnana. O gentle Rama, you have understood the truth that underlies the three states of consciousness. You have also understood the implication of the great utterances of the scriptures. Just to remind of the great utterances, 4 great utterances. Prajnanam Brahma. What is Brahman? Brahman, even the God term, is limited because you are conceiving of God according to your mental capacity. Brahman is beyond, absolute. Again, call him God, absolute God, Paramatma. But realize that Paramatma or Brahman is not somewhere far distant, beyond the Milky Way, in Vaikuntha somewhere. Your very consciousness is nothing but Brahman. You are looking for Brahman, exercising your mind, beating up your brains. Where is God? Where is Brahman? But every little thing, a mosquito bites you. Consciousness of being bitten, that consciousness is Brahman. Being bitten is the Maya aspect. You go through worries and anxieties and pain and sorrows. You go through it how? By your consciousness. But consciousness is like a lake. And the lake creates the illusion. If a lake is boisterous, there are lots of waves are coming in the lake. You look into the lake and you don't see the sky in it. Just to make it understandable, allegorical. So even though when you look into the lake and what you see is nothing but the trees, and again depending upon your eyes what you want to see, you see some battle going on the branches by monkeys and bears and whatever. And all this is reflecting. The same lake is giving you miserable reflections as well as pleasant reflections. But all reflections that you are getting in the lake are hiding the lake. Lake is your reality. That lake is pure consciousness. All you experience in a physical way, in a psychological way, through your feeling and through your understanding. 3 ways you experience. Behind all that, there is pure awareness. That awareness, without it, you cannot experience anything. That awareness itself is your essential reality. Prajnanam Brahma. So Vedantic scriptures make God very easy. So already does do that. God is all pervading, all permeating. But it's more easy to understand. Your very consciousness is nothing but Brahman. So that first step, definition of Brahman. And now the initiation is given by sages, by instruction. First instruction comes Tattvam Asi. That Brahman you are. You are not the body, you are not the mind. All that you are experiencing are reflections caused by Maya, illusion. Your consciousness remains untouched by, lake remains untouched by reflected images. You are in brief that Brahman, Tattvamasi. And when you are given this instruction, you practice it by the mantra Aham Brahmas. I am Brahman. You go after your I am. Brahman is difficult to grab in your mind. But now it's made very simple. You can grab your I. See your ego pad. So who am I? And then now we begin to separate that I am. The I am in your waking state gets dumped when you are in dream. The I am of your dream state gets dumped, moves away when you go to deep sleep or even wake up one way or the other. The I am of deep sleep also, shaky grounds. But what is then behind all the three variable I ams? The real I am. What's the common denominator behind three variables? Waking, dream, deep sleep. And that is absolute I am. That's Aham Brahmas. And when you reach this experience, I am Atma Brahman, a revelation that the very soul in you, what you considered your soul, which was a reflected sun. A reflected sun is nothing but the sun. So these are the four great utterances. Therefore, prepare yourself to attain the holy heights of Turiya. So now, therefore, go after. When you have received these instructions, your Shubhecha has been completed. Go into Vicharana, reflect upon it. Go into further, allow your mind to undergo transformation, and so forth. Having renounced the objects of like and dislike, be lit up with the cooling rays of divine bliss. Now your daily life begins to change. Every day you are constantly looking for things you like, and looking for things you dislike so that you can go after it and throw them away. And you have no peace. But now you move away, having understood this whole project. What is most important is you, not what you like, what you don't like. Just you. Who am I? That's most important. And that I begins to reveal through the cracks between like and dislike. In the crack comes serenity. The mind becomes serene, neither liking nor disliking, just quiet, not sleeping, not dull, but peacefully quiet. That's called prasanna chitta. This is translated called cheerfulness. You're not laughing, teeth are not coming out. I'm not shaking, you are not elated. But your lips don't smile, but your eyes are smiling. I'm joking. Heart with both smiles. Joyousness of a profound nature. That's what one needs to look for as success in your sadhana. Because in that joyous state you are channeling, attuning yourself to the absolute self. You're opening a channel to the revelation of who am I, which is the central goal of your life. If that is not understood, then led by illusion, you can go on looking for goal of prosperity, popularity, and population, life after life. And there is no end to it. So when objects of like and dislike are renounced, sage is lit up with the cooling rays of divine bliss. During the state of Turiya, your consciousness, which is freed of the darkness of illusion, shines like the cloudless night during the full moon. The sky that is cloudless with the full moon during the night. It's allegorical again, that's why we use the term Chandra, Ramachandra. That Chandra is not geographical moon, because moon doesn't have its own light. But Chandra is allegorical. That type of presence, just like the sky suddenly becomes so beautiful with a shining full moon, and the sky that has no clouds. That's called Sharad Chandra. Sharad is the autumn season in India when clouds don't move away. The sky is clear. And that Chandra becomes the attribute relating to divine personalities. Just as a yogi who by the practice of meditation, japa and other austerities has attained the siddhi of flying through the sky, does not move along earthly paths. Again, this is an allegorical thing. Suppose you have gained a psychic power of flying. If you have that power of flying, then why will you choose a crowded road? and get involved with a lot of virus affected people. In other words, if you have the possibility to fly, you will fly. Why will you choose to stay down? Similarly, if you have knowledge has developed in you to understand what is your goal, if your knowledge is mature, then why should you have to go on collecting mud and go after it between your two treasuries? So the mind of a sage does not stoop to the petty pleasures of the senses. O Rama, pure consciousness is the only essential reality in this entire universe. Prajnanam Brahma. All this universe has no reality. And this is such a simple point. It's very hard for the masses to understand. Simple point. You know, all these things that you see depend upon your eyesight. Your eyesight is not absolute. So therefore, what you see cannot be absolutely the way you see it. So you are never seeing exact reality. Your touch is limited. All these are based on your nervous system. No two persons will have exactly the same perception. But then when you come to many other creatures in the world, there are creatures that can smell 400 miles away. Creatures who can see hundreds of miles away. And there are creatures that have type of perception that human beings have not acquired, sixth sense. But that's allegorical. There may be seventh sense, the eighth sense. There are now countless senses. So all you have is just nonsense. Therefore, you should not develop the illusion of this, that, I, you, body, mind, thine. This is what keeps the mind so entertained and involved. These are the terms. This, oh, what a wonderful thing. That, bring that to me, make it this. I, you, body, mind, yours. Just some samples. And the mind is going all out, all these terms. Therefore, in mantra initiation, we are using the term nama. Nama is the negation of all these, especially me and mine, two illusions. Just as the ocean is nothing but water, in the same way this world is nothing but Brahman. This entire dream that you went through, nothing but your own consciousness. Not a difficult thing to understand. Just as there is not a trace of darkness in the effulgent sun, in the same manner there is not a trace of duality and multiplicity in Brahman. In this reflected sun is constantly shaking, and it can become divided into two suns if you change the water into another. Pure consciousness, Brahman, is like the sun. Sun does not have all these that you see with the reflected sun. That sun you are. Your mind is making you deluded. But the same mind can make you enlightened. Body and spirit are mutually contradictory, like light and darkness. By body and mind, body and spirit here refers to how people view the world of difference between jada and chetan. Jada, inert things. Chetan, conscious things. Put in another way, your mind deals with self and not self. And you go after researching within yourself. What is not self? Body is your not self. Soul is your self. So there is a difference between spirit and matter. But since there is such a difference, how can there be a relationship between the two? How can there be a relationship between light and shadow? How can you have dream pomegranate as well as waking pomegranate, both together? I'm joking. Figure that out. It is due to ignorance that the human mind has vainly imagined a relationship between the two. So when you say my body, it's a relationship or relating yourself to body. But behind that statement, there is a terrible illusion. Even in dream, you will say, this is my body. But neither the body is real, nor the one who is saying, I am the body, this is my body. That type of understanding is also not real. The subject is not real, the object is not real. But how can their relationship will be real? It is due to a faulty vision that one develops the idea, I am happy, I am miserable, I am dull, and so forth. All this doesn't mean that you shouldn't be happy. But just to understand that all your experiences in daily life, I'm happy, I'm miserable, I'm dull, that I am in you is completely untouched by all this. If you continue to give reality to these mental illusions, if you stay stuck with this false identity, constantly hammering upon the mind, how we are born, who were your parents, and all that, defining yourself constantly as related to the body, then that becomes your abhyasa. That becomes your reality. Whatever you practice constantly, that becomes your austerity. That's how the demons gain immense power. So do not continue to give reality to these mental illusions. Otherwise you are paving the way to long-lasting misery of bhava virus. The virus of mortality. Bhava vyadhi virus. And with this we conclude. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarupuma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhyama Mritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.